Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel complete.
Hey everybody, I just want to say thank you for all of your prayers and everything for Melly. As you know, we had the bond hearing today.
The judge just dropped a major decision today about YNW Melly and his freedom. And the reactions are already going wild, one rapper said today. The day my boy Melly finally breathes fresh air 7 years with no conviction is insane. Judge, do the right thing, and honestly, it's starting to look like that might actually happen. Another post claimed Melly's team already has a house ready for him, complete with a pool, and even a music studio where he could finally create freely if he's granted bond. And get this, he wouldn't even have to leave until trial next year. Even high-profile attorney Whitford Cohen stepped in to break down what his potential release could look like.
So Melly had a bond hearing today, and it's still ongoing. I believe it's 2 o'clock. I think it started at 10. It's almost like a mini trial where they're putting on individuals, and they're doing a really nice job with crossing individuals, putting on individuals about confinement and what it does to a person's psyche. He's been in, I don't know, going on 8 years, I believe. I think I was hired on this case originally. I think his bond should have been considered before this. Also, this case really, in my opinion, should have been a speedy trial in the first 6 to 8 months of the case, but that's spilt milk at this point.
One fan wrote, "A bro fanwa. Melly walked in smiling harder than I've ever seen. If he gets denied bond, he's gonna break down, and honestly, same." Meanwhile, Melly's legal team is really leaning into how he's been treated behind bars to push for his release in court. It was revealed that a BSO officer admitted Melly's cell has been searched every single day during his 7 years locked up, and nothing has been found since 2019. No contraband, no issues. The officer also confirmed Melly has never had a single altercation and hasn't even spoken to family in 6 years after court. His mom spoke out again, doubling down on how he's been treated and saying she's relieved people are finally paying attention.
I know people didn't believe me when I was saying just how horrible they were treating him, but to hear it come out of that BSO officer's mouth, it really brought it home, and it hurt. Like, it really made me cry, because I don't see how you could treat anybody like that. It's innocent to proven guilty, but they are treating him worse than anybody I've ever heard of. The doctor even said he's never heard of someone being kept up underneath such seclusion and such harsh conditions. I just want him to be able to at least come
What a lot of
home.
people don't realize is that Melly's mom actually called out the county jail over a year ago about his conditions. But back then, nobody really listened.
You saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. They are making up their own rules. We tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because
The way Melly's been treated in jail, it's raising serious concerns in court. A psychiatrist named Norman explained that no person should spend more than 15 days in isolation, referencing the Nelson Mandela Act passed in 2015. He pointed out that Melly has been isolated for years, something he says he's never seen before. In fact, he compared it to the movie Castaway starring Tom Hanks. Norman also warned that Melly's brain, especially since he was so young when detained, could be permanently affected, since the brain's frontal cortex doesn't fully develop until around 24-25. This kind of isolation could have lifelong consequences. And according to that same act, this type of treatment could even be considered illegal. Still, Charleston White previously reacted, saying Melly shouldn't get special treatment just because he's famous.
The YNW Melly. I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated. Yeah, I'm so happy he in jail getting mistreated, homie. Homie, when you take a life, homie, you ain't got a right to complain about a motherfucking thing, about being mistreated. When you done chose to play somebody.
But things took a sharp turn once prosecutors stepped in to explain why Melly shouldn't be granted bond. Prosecutor Alexandra pointed back to Judge Martin Feen's earlier statement about Melly being seen getting into the vehicle. She claimed Melly was specifically seen getting into the seat where the alleged shooter was. She also brought up cell data that allegedly places him at the scene straight up, saying, "We know, Bortland wasn't the shooter. The defendant was," while pointing directly at Melly in court. They even played footage showing Melly entering the back left.
Excuse me, you're able to see? Yes?
They also presented footage of YNW's mother confirming it was Melly who sat there, and she said she's known him his entire life.
Your full legal name for the jury?
Leon Phillips.
Okay. And are you related to one of the kids in this case?
Yes, I am.
How's that?
I'm his mother.
And who is that?
Christopher Thomas.
Ms. Phillips, did you see who entered into the occupants who entered into that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Do you recognize where your son entered that gray Jeep?
Yes.
Which seat, if you can identify for the jury?
He got in the back seat on the right hand side.
Did you recognize the individual that got into the back seat on the left side, the rear driver's side?
Yes.
And who was that individual?
Janelle.
With that evidence, things became a real 50 situation for the judge, but Melly's defense still has something working in their favor, and it all goes back to what Bortland did the night of the incident. That detail could actually help Melly secure release before trial, according to records on October 26th. Bortland arrived at Memorial Hospital, asking for help for two passengers, NY Sack Chaser and Juvie. He told Detective Moretti a version of events that later didn't hold up. During questioning, it became clear he was lying about what really happened, and investigators caught on.
One hard time to understand is that we shut down that entire area, and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's like it.
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These are like,
these your two, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah,
and you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. I cannot tell you about a shell case.
The report continues. When Bortland got to the hospital, he told officers his car and friends had just been shot at. He said they had just left a studio and were stopped at a light when another car pulled up and started firing. According to him, he ducked and drove off. He even stuck to that story during the interrogation, but again, it wasn't.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home. You know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard. You know what I'm saying? And I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car, and I almost crashed.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75. Then you took 75.
Police then pressed him for details how he was driving, whether he crashed, and if he saw who was in the other car.
I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got shut out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
But this wasn't even the first time Bortland raised eyebrows in this case, because something else suspicious was later found in his home.
Melly's co-defendant YNW Bortland was booked into a Miami jail Monday night and is being held behind bars on an out-of-county warrant. We just confirmed the warrant is out of Broward County for witness tampering. The warrant obtained by Law and Crime Network states as follows. On or about April 10, 2023, continuing through and including July 22, 2023, Cortland Henry, aka Bortland, along with others, did unlawfully and knowingly engage in misleading conduct toward another person with the intent to cause or induce them to withhold testimony. The warrant continues the alleged witness had been summoned by the legal process to the jury trial of Jamel Dimmons, aka YNW Melly. The dates in the warrant are important. Jury selection for Melly started in mid-April, and a judge declared a mistrial on July 22nd, the same day the warrant claims Bortland allegedly tampered.
Court documents revealed that during a raid on Bortland's house, investigators found notes and drawings showing where jurors were sitting along with descriptions of their appearances back during Melly's original trial. Bortland showed up for just one day while setting his own court date, but while leaving, he memorized where jurors were seated and what they looked like later. He sketched it all out at home, which prosecutors argue made it seem like he was targeting jurors who might convict his friend.
Keep it real, this is sloppy. Bortland, how the f*** you gonna have the notebook of the jurors in your house? Holy sh**. Like, come the f*** on. It's like doing a and having the surveillance tape in your DVD player or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like they raid your crib and the surveillance footage of the is in your DVD player. Like, oh, okay, thank you, brother. This can't be at your crib.
Melly's team is now using Bortland's behavior throughout the case to their advantage. They're also reminding the new judge that no firearm was ever recovered, which supports the claim that this could have been a drive-by with the weapon, leaving the scene in another vehicle.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what was used.
Because of all this, Melly's lawyers are pushing to have anything tied to Bortland thrown out completely their argument. How can they defend Melly against both the truth and Bortland's alleged lies at the same time? Legal documents claim allowing Bortland's statements would violate Melly's Sixth Amendment rights. They also argue that even if Bortland lied or was guilty, that doesn't prove Melly's involvement, but it could unfairly influence the jury. The filings also explain that Bortland initially told police a buy happened after leaving the studio, but investigators found zero evidence supporting that he was later charged with serious offenses, but ended up taking a plea deal, pleading no contest to accessory charges while the main charge was dropped. And that's where things get tricky for Melly, because of what Bortland agreed to in that deal.
He is going to be tell-all about anything he knows about the double case, and they will know if he's telling the truth or telling a lie when he gives his full quote-unquote confession as to what happened that evening. And that's what happens. A lot of times where guys are in prison for 4 or 5 years awaiting trial and looking at a life sentence, and they're offered 10 years where they'll be home probably in another 3 years that he'll serve, he decides to flip and become a cheese eater. And that's what happens a lot of times on these cases, and I was expecting it to happen a lot sooner than it did. He held out for quite some time, but long story short is it looks like he's going to flip, and it makes the case on YNW Melly, depending on what he says, which I anticipate he'll say that YNW Melly is responsible.
Now here's where it gets complicated. Bortland doesn't technically have to snitch on Melly, that part is true, but according to DJ Academics, the judge required a factual basis for his plea meaning. Bortland has to explain what actually happened in order for the plea to be accepted. So even without naming Melly, he still has to describe the crime confirming it happened.
This is a gun plea. This is a gun plea. This isn't a plea saying you have to tell on him, but this is a plea that you're going to have to provide all the details that they were missing to convict. And that's why it's a gun plea. Why do I say he signed a gun plea? Because YNW Melly, and I watched the case, we covered it. YNW Melly's case is that, number one, you guys have not done a job to prove that this is actually they have to, but prove that this is a homicide with this person being the offender. Also, the accessory after the fact plea confirms that Bortland, that's kind of like almost like a sub part of a conspiracy, except you weren't with the conspiracy at first. You came in after the fact. What that proved is that they came in. What that proved is that Bortland worked with someone after he acknowledged that a took place in trying to cover it up. You hear what I just said? When pleading to an accessory to after the fact, you have to acknowledge that it happened and you assisted someone or in some way to cover it. Now, if Melly's statement is, how do we know they were, and then secondly, how do we know who did it? Because they said it was a drive-by.
If you're new to the case, when Melly's trial started in 2023, Mariah was supposed to testify against him, but she disappeared from the U.S. completely, investigators believe. Melly paid her to leave, so she couldn't testify by 2025. Though she wanted to return home, she booked a flight using her ID, and that immediately triggered airport security alerts as soon as she landed and waited for her luggage. Police moved in and arrested her on the spot in court. The judge offered her a deal: testify against Melly and she could walk free. She accepted instantly, which is obviously terrible news for Melly. Federal documents later revealed prosecutors dropped certain charges to protect key evidence, including jail calls tied to Melly's case. They also claimed financial records showed Mariah received over $31,000 from Melly's management, plus help buying a Mercedes, despite having no reported income. Investigators also pointed to jail calls, surveillance footage, and inmate messages, suggesting Melly was directing communication through others after losing phone privileges. And here's the wild part: in what Juvie's father had already exposed similar claims years ago, but once again nobody paid attention.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
Crazy way that Melly was communicating. He wasn't allowed to use the phone, but he was passing notes to people, and then this person's calling this person, and then that person.
Saying like to me, they're going through extreme measures, trying to cover up or convince people not to testify, like Mariah mom. They was using code words like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's baby mom.
What he said lines up with what's now in court documents that recorded calls and messages allegedly show instructions to keep Mariah away from testifying using coded language and nicknames. Those same nicknames were reportedly revealed years ago. And when you combine all of this with the alleged text messages on Melly's phone, prosecutors say it's clear this is exactly why he should not be released on bond.
The P.T. Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, "I did that," and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly account says what?
After that, SHHHH.